Welcome to the Ladies Talk Show. This is your host, Leah Richeimer. Thank you so much for joining us. Here is where a seismic shift in our thinking needs to happen before we can put it into actions, okay? And that is that if our priorities are that our children come first, or that's how all our actions are, and we don't really get that our Masorah, our tradition is that the husband goes first. We found lots of sources. We went through this extensively. Found lots of sources that say that you spend eternity with your husband. There was zero that I was able to find, and maybe someone will send me one day, of that you spend eternity with your children. So for the 120 years that you're here, whatever you put into your relationship with your husband is you're going to reap rewards for eternity. With children, it's important to take care of your children. It's important to, I'm not saying it's not important, but I'm saying in terms of priority, it was black and white. There was no shade of gray that I found. Now, does that mean if your kids are in the bathtub, you run down and visit your husband for half an hour? No. But it means when he comes in the door and you're bathing the kids, you scream, "Oh, hi, I wish I could come and say hi to you, but the kids are in the bathtub and we'll be out in 10 minutes. Hello," okay? That means that internally, you have made part of your reality, part of your understanding of how life works and what's important in life. You've come to the realization that my husband is my number one priority. Once you go from there, the actions a little bit, take care of themselves. We all know this scene, right? You're putting the kids to bed, this one, whatever. This one finally quieted down. Now you're going to do that one and whatever. And there's a whole, open the door. "Hi, honey, I'm home." And you're like, "Really? Now?" Yeah. No. "Oh, hi, dear." And it always is the wrong time. The pot is always boiling over. There's always like one urgent email that came in. And if you don't send email back, then the next day the lunch that was borrowed in this carpool thing isn't going to happen because, whatever it is, they walk in the door. Always at the worst time. And now you have a choice. Again, it's if you understand that he's what you're there for in the first place, right? Then the bedtime, okay, so they, now for some of us, we all have kids where mucking up the bedtime gives you an extra 45 minutes of pain, okay? So we know this, and it could be if your husband, if this happens every night, like you exactly put the kids in bed every night at 7, and he always walks in the door at 7:05, right? It could be a communication thing where you say, "Look, I love when you come home. I don't want to tell you to come home later. Is it possible for you to come home at 6:50? That would be ideal. But if you're at 7:05, it's better if you come at 7:10. Just sit inside in the car," something like that. So there is communication and flexibility or whatever. But the reason you say is because I want to greet you properly and not make up the work that I've done for the last several hours to get this routine together. So also I want to say, you're talking and a child calls and needs you. So I assume this is a phone call. If the kid is coming in the room, again, most families don't have their children trained so that if mommy and daddy are talking, don't interrupt. This is like that is something that really, if you can put it in place, it's really crucial. I mean, it not just for your being able to have a good relationship with your husband, but for them to understand what it means to respect, what that means. What it means to how they should be treating their spouse. There's so many lessons that they're learning from that aren't just about you being selfish and greedily being able to have a leisurely time with your husband. It's very, very crucial, but I find most people don't have, this kind of rule in place. If you can put that in place, fine. Now, the kid comes up to you and you don't have that rule in place, let's say, and he starts talking, then if you turn to the child and say, "Listen, is it urgent or just important? Give me 5, give me 10, please write it on an index card, leave it here, I'll answer it when I can," something like that. But again, it's in your action, you are putting your husband as the priority.